Barrington Levy cut from musical cloth, but instead making his presence known in the kitchen.
My dad being who he is, it's kind of just expected that I go into music. And to be honest with you, I don't like the music industry, man. I don't like the music industry one little bit.
That's what he said to me. He's gonna be a chef, and I say, sure? So how come you don't want to do music like Daddy?
The London-based chef with Dad Barrington in tow, meeting up with ER at G-Jam in Portland during a recent visit. The lush location, a burst of tropical warmth and colour after the freezing gloom of London. Levy meticulous with the dishes he prepared. Catering school, time well spent in a city that's a cultural and cooking melting pot.
I think that's one of the most intriguing thing about somewhere like London, because you have so many different people that all were taught their traditional way of cooking, but their friend might be from India, and their other friend might be from Pakistan, and their other friend might be from Russia. And if you're all about the food, there's a lot that you can get out of it. And now I've worked for Michelin star chefs. I want to now critique it more into my style of cooking, which is Caribbean foods.
Perhaps an underrepresented cooking tradition in a very basic culinary city, but the textures and tastes of the island set to make the plate as part of 75th anniversary celebrations around the Windrush arrival of West Indians in the late 40s.
I think 2023, Caribbean and African food is finally getting its face shown properly for what is out here. I believe that, especially talking about Jamaica, there's not many countries around the world that has so many different influences from so many different backgrounds to make something new. We have African, Indian, Chinese, Arab. There's so many different little parts that adds to the food that we eat here, but not many people know about it.
Levy's big mission:
to present Caribbean food in a way that is more acceptable to people that don't understand it, and then they can travel into eating the traditional dishes because they feel more accepting to do it, rather than looking at it and be like, oh, I don't know what that is, so I'm gonna leave it. I want to see home delivery boxes now, where instead of you order your takeaway, you order your box and it's got the perfect amount of ingredients, and you go home, you got your little cooking card and you cook up. I want to see that for Caribbean food.
From doing Caribbean fusion in a restaurant, Levy now catering private events. He's also developing a food show for television. Island Flavors, a father-son exploration of the islands and their very different cooking styles, set to a soundtrack, and part of the bigger picture of bringing Caribbean cooking into UK households.
Give it a little time. If I was to ask a Caribbean in London, I say, yo, you like ackee? Yeah, I love it. I say, where's it come from? And they give you a dead look. They don't know that it comes from a tree. They don't know that there's a process to do it. So my first idea was to build knowledge of the ingredients of what the Caribbean has to offer. That's where the show got its grassroots from, and now we're taking it on the road. We're gonna do Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, St. Lucia, and Cuba. In the culture, food and music go hand in hand. So to me, it was a no-brainer to add the two together, especially my dad being who he is. He can go to any Caribbean island and someone can relate to him in terms of music. And then when it comes to food, as long as you know what you're doing with food, you can relate to anyone as well. Whether you cook it or whether you just eat it, you can relate.
Me and my son, we're gonna have some fun. I do the music and him do the food. Don't be rude, don't be rude.
Dad seems to like the idea.
I'm loving it, so looking forward to it.
When I first was telling him that I was a chef and I'm pretty good, he didn't believe me.
So has he cooked for you?
Yes, many times. Like if I go to England, usually I would stay in a hotel. The last time I went to England, I stayed at his house, and trust me, he went in. And when I go to his restaurant and I see his presentation, I was like, I don't see nothing like this. Yeah, man, he's a good one.
Island Flavors, meanwhile, the nearest to a collab with his dad, Barrington's son, is likely to ever get.
The beautiful thing about the show is there's so many different things to take out of it. You don't just have to be a foodie to watch it. You don't just have to be into music to watch it. You can be about travel. You can be about food. You can be about music. You can be about the laughter of the interaction between me and my dad and the places that we go.